tonight. There's one more game to still go in the month.
I need to get a hat trick.
Okay. Do you want to get a hat trick on Saturday?
Officially,
yeah.
In September.
Officially, yeah. There's one more game in September to go. But because obviously this would be our last classroom session of September, I want to do it tonight that we're now completing October. And again, we review everything on that sheet. If I take Joshua's, if I steal his, because we've got the template here, where, yeah, you got your name, my name and the date on it, and again we put in our long-term goals. So obviously your long-term goal will probably remain the same. Yeah? We want to now review this, our strengths and our weaknesses from September to now October. Have we improved on our weaknesses from September? Because this is the second section there of what you want to improve on and how you improve it. That was the part where I say that we can work on it in training, obviously. We can give you homework for you to work on at home as well. And that's now where we want to review that from September to October. Have we improved? Yeah? Also as well, we look at our short-term goals from September. Did we achieve them? Okay? And now we set ourselves new short-term goals for October. So there's always evolving. We're always challenging ourselves. Remember to always keep this realistic, the short-term goals, yeah? Okay? And you sign it off. So the first 10 minutes of tonight, it's our personal development plan we complete for October. And also as well, we should have our weekly practice guides up, which Owen has got here. So remember, yeah, that's fine. We can do that as well tonight. That every week, remember, you keep this up to date. That you're writing in what training you're doing. Obviously here, put them all in on our Tuesday and our Thursday and our match day on a Saturday. The other things you've got to remember is anybody going to our other elite centres, like Bangor on a Monday? Did anybody go there? Your Sunday training at Craigie as well. Some of the boys might have went to our base at Boys Model on Friday night. Maybe other people went to Uri on a Friday night, or we had a one-on-one session. So all that, put it in, including anything you've done in school, PE, after school clubs, games, whatever. Matches, put it in. As well as that, get into a good habit now of writing down what you're eating each day. And be honest, and how much fluids we're taking on board. So the first 10 minutes, that's the focus, and then we move on. Okay? So sit down, and let's work on that. Okay, a couple of wee things. A couple of open questions. I want this page that you have should be up that way. Right, so see the goals at the top? Yeah. Now, on the back of it, I want you to write your name at the top. Full name. Because I know we've got Joshua and we've got Kamar, so make sure your full name goes on the back.
Why didn't you just write Melzi at the top?
Okay, we done?
Yep.
Now, I'm going to ask a few questions here, and I want you to write the answers down. Number 1, answer. Number 2, answer, and so on. But also want to have a show of hands, because Neil's filming this section. What is to do with this team selection? First of all, the first question is easy. Does everybody here want to play in every match and every minute? Put your hands up if you agree. Honestly, the simple question is, do you want to play every game? If you want to play every game, put your hand up. It's not a trick question. Honestly, Paul, it's not a trick question. You're either saying you want to play in every match. It's not a trick question.
You don't want to? No, not every match.
You want to play in every match? Yeah. So, okay, interesting, right? Put it down. As I said, it wasn't a trick question. If you want to play in every game and in every minute, put down number 1 on your sheet. Yes, I want to play every game.
Yes. Did you put no? Yeah, he put no.
And if you put no, that's fine. That's okay. Right? So here's the second question. We've got a squad of 14. Do you think it's fair that you play every game, or do you think you should take a turn? If you think you should rotate, put your hand up and agree.
There's no point in
No, there is. Because if there's another goalkeeper comes in, he can agree. Says, yeah, I think everybody should take a turn and rotate and play the same match. So only anybody not agree that they should rotate, put your hand up. You can't put your hand up twice. If you put your hand up and agree that you're going to rotate.
I don't want to rotate.
Right, so we answered that question through. Should be, yes, I think we should rotate.
Yes.
Or it should be, no, I think I should play every game. Right, question 3. And it's relating to question 2. regardless of what answer you put down. If your answer especially was, yes, I want to play in every game, I don't think I should rotate. Now the question is, how would you feel if you were the player that was always left out and was never given an opportunity? Write down how you think you feel, because here we are quite fair, and I'm going to show you the facts now in the next bit. But I know some of you at other clubs maybe last season were maybe left out the side, were maybe sub all the time, maybe didn't get playing. But also I know some of you that played in every match. So I just wanted you to take then for question 3, how would you feel if you were the one that was always left out? Okay?
Okay, number 4.
Now, what this is my stats. Every game you play, I will record who plays. I will give you an average rating out of 10. I will record how many minutes you play. I will record how many goals you score, how many yellow cards there is, how many red cards there is, and so forth. So all the facts I store. Now, what I want to try and do is to try and get everybody similar minutes in the park. Now, it's not always possible because at the minute we've only got one goalkeeper. Yeah? So that means Dale, when fit and available, he's going to play every minute. So we've played 5 matches so far. Each match is 60 minutes. How many minutes is that then? Oh, yeah, you said that.
Me?
Wow.
I said Boston.
Very, very clever. We've got very clever players. So yeah, so Dio has played all 300 minutes because he's the goalkeeper, right? Now, obviously as well, we try to be as fair as possible, and we went down Finley then. He's played 270 minutes. So he had a half off. And that goes down then, we've got the likes of Paul Scullion, 250. Josh Clark, 245. Donald, 240. Dean, 240. Blake, 240. Dylan, 239. Why is the amount short? So, Tim, 235. Owen, 230. Now, do you see how close that is amongst everybody? How close is that? Now, next comes PK. He's on 214. So there's a gap of about 15 minutes. Why?
Cameron get took off.
Yeah. So he was the last one to have a substitute appearance on Saturday. Okay? So that's why he's leaving up. Whereas this Saturday, you know, unless he gets injured, he will play the full 60 minutes. So that will get him back up again. Because PK, on my list last week, was I think about the 5th name down of playing in those minutes. You understand? So that's the way it rotates. Now, the other things we have to take in is then we've got Luther, 212, like PK, because you played the first half, you played the second half, yeah? So that's why you two are there, whereas maybe this week, the two of you will play a full game, so all of a sudden, whoop, you go back up again, right? Then we have Cameron Mills, 206, and then we have Joshua, 178. Now, but again, there's factors because we have to keep everything into consideration. Joshua, 178, he was away this weekend. Okay, he was away on a trip, so obviously that meant he only played 0 of the 60 minutes. That's why there's a gap. Millsy, for instance, he got injured against Lisburn Youth. You had to come off after 20 minutes in the game. So that's why there's 40 minutes of a gap in that game, and then the other game you were delayed in getting to the game, so you only got a half rather than a full game. So. And of course, Dylan was suspended last week and he's suspended this week. Okay? So, that's why the minutes will never be, exact, but they're not far off. That's not bad. And that's why, as coaches, that's why we should play like this, because I have to develop 14 players. Not 11, 14. And to develop 14 players, it's important then that you all play similar amounts of football. Yeah? Everybody agree to that point?
Do you do how many?
You can now understand why I monitor closely the minutes. Now, here's another interesting fact, because there's always a thought process behind this, and I want you guys to understand. In this room, your teammates, there'll be some teammates that will be more developed than others, as we currently stand at the minute. And this was something I talked about with Paul Kirk, who was first team manager at Lisburn Story, while I was his academy director. And me and Paul talked a lot about this. He says that if there's boys that's more developed, because it could be several things. Somebody maybe's had a bigger growth spurt, taller. Maybe somebody's just more developed, because you come at different stages. So the interesting fact that we said was, The people then at this moment in time that are less developed, should they play more football to catch up? What do you think? Yeah? If you're less developed, you have more minutes on the football pitch, you will probably then catch up quicker. That's obvious. Because if we turn around and say, well, somebody's more developed, and the way that some coaches think, it's the winning mentality comes into their head. We want to play our best team, we want to go and win, we want to win. Is that doing anything good for the less developed player? No, of course it's not. So here's the flip side of the coin. And this is what I did quite recently against, I think it was Carrick Rangers. Subs against Carrick Rangers was Donal, Paul, and Cameron, was it? Yeah?
No, it started off as Dana, was it? No, Blake.
Yeah, was it? Was it? No, Carrick.
It was me, Donal, and Josh. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so they were the subs. So Donal, we'll use as an example, who started a lot of games and has scored 7 goals in 5 games as a winger. We left him as a sub. When you start a game at 0 minutes, what is the score? Nil each. What was the score when you came on against Carrick? We were getting beat 2-1. That means we were a goal behind. Does that mean you've got to raise your game?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it does. When we were kids and we played out in the street, if we couldn't agree on fair teams, what did we turn around and do? Alright, you can have a goal start. So this is something which I bring into my squad selection at youth football. If I feel that I've got some players who are more developed than others, I might think, well, hey, you can stay on the bench. The other players that maybe a wee bit behind or maybe not as developed, they start. But at the same time then, you might come into a game that you might be 2-1 down, and that means then all of a sudden that's challenging you further. Because I don't want a player to stay at this level, yeah? I want a player to go from this level to this level. But at the same time, I want all my players at that level, yeah? And that's how we develop. So this is, the reason for tonight is I want you to get into my head to think, yeah, I can see that Tim's got 14 players, and he's got to try and give all 14 similar game time. And also, there's a thought process behind team selection and how I raise people's games. And that night, you came on and you set up the equaliser. You set it up, you scored it, didn't you? And that was what the 2 subs?
No, I was Grenada or something.
Yeah, okay. So that's just one scenario for you to think. Right? Now, knowing that Joshua's at 178, Millsy's at 206, Luther's at 212, and PK's at 214. Okay? They would be the 4 players that's 15 minutes off everybody else. Because we've got Owen then at 230, and everybody's very close at 230 up to about 240, 245. Now, you get the fun. You turn your sheet over. You pick the team. Pick the team for me on Saturday. Remember, Dale's available. Dale's playing. Yeah, Dale's available. Pick your team. The only thing you've got to remember is Dylan, unfortunately, this is his last game of suspension. So, obviously, you can't pick Dylan. But go ahead, pick your starting 11. Pick your starting 11. Put it in a system. So remember the system that we play. Make sure that you see on your team sheet. You've obviously got your goalkeeper. Yeah. Deal. Luther's picked you. What do you think about that? Yeah, you happy with that? Now, your back 4, right back, centre back, left back will be here. Your midfield's going to be in here, and your front line up here. Right? So use the outline of the pitch. You can decide what system you play. If you want to stick to the same system we play. But I'm letting you guys be the manager. Pick the team for me this Saturday. And then also want you to put the 2 subs, right, at the top corner of the page. And then I maybe want you to circle a sub and circle them with a player that's on the pitch who you're going to sub for, yeah? And then maybe the other sub, put a rectangle around them. So one will have an oval around them, who you're going to change that player with that player, and the other sub will be a rectangle around them, and the rectangle with who you're going to replace. Understand? Yeah? Using the manager.
1, 2, 4, which is 4 balls. B.
Right, so pick your team.
How many do you have this week?
We've got 13, so Dylan's the only one that can't play.
Is that right or left?
This is right back on the other side.
Did you put me in left back?
Right, so don't be talking. I want you to pick your team. Don't be looking at anybody else's sheet. Now remember, just put their names in our school. They just put a K then after and then just Josh. So to show you just how people think and how that. Obviously, in my opinion, when I go and pick the team, that's what we go by. But I like to give you responsibility to pick a team as well. But this just goes to show you what I pick may be different to what you pick, may be different what your teammate would pick, may be different what Mummy and Daddy thinks you should pick. You know, so everybody's got their own ideas, but this is what to show you what make this a great game, because everybody's got their own ideas. Some people might think in their head, I'm going to pick what I think might be the strongest team as it sits at the moment. Other people might think, no, I've listened to what Tim's had to say there, and the players that are behind match time, Joshua, Millsy, and Luther, and PK, they're 15 minutes behind, so I'm going to make sure those 4 are in my team. Alright? And that'll be interesting to see who thinks like that, and who thinks different. So I'm just going to pick people around and Paul. Stand up. Right? Who's in nets? Dale, okay, obviously. Right? Okay, right back.
Different PK.
Centre back.
Finlay. Everybody's going to play.
Left back.
Cameron.
Cameron. Mills. Okay, what are your system you playing? Same as always? Yeah, okay, so who's playing from the back 4? Listen. Luther and Tim, so. Luther. Yeah, okay. Midfield. Who's on the right?
Me.
Yeah, you're picking yourself in your own team.
No way.
Okay.
Owen.
Owen.
In the centre.
In the centre. Oh.
I knew you
Yeah.
did that.
Left.
Don't.
Don't.
Am I up?
Up front.
Josh.
Josh. Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Great. And okay, subs in, so you have Dean. And who else? Josh Wilson. And okay, have you decided who your subs are going to be?
I'm picking off Cameron for Damon. Yes. Cameron for Joshua. Me? Yes.
Cameron, which Cameron? Mills. Okay. So there's Paul's team, and that's his subs, right? And let's say who we'll go for. Blake, since his hand isn't up. Blake, keeper? Yeah, okay, good. Right? Right back? Oh, okay. Centre backs? Ian Finlay. Left back? Luther. So it's going to be Cameron Lewis. Alright. Dean and Tim. Okay. Midfield? Same? Paul? Owen? Donal, and up front? Josh. So we'll pick somebody else at random. With Blake, and he's had the 2 changes. So he's had Luther on left back, and he's got Dean in there. So we've got So it's there's 2 people I've picked at random. They go and say name your 11, and there's 2 changes in it. So Joshua, okay, you're Deal. So yeah, okay, right back. Good. Centre backs.
Blake and Finlay.
Blake Finlay, left back.
Me.
Yep, good. Put yourself in. That's it. Good. Okay, and then midfield.
Tim and Dino.
Tim and Dino. In front of them.
Luther and Millsy.
Luther. So have you got Luther on the left here?
Yeah.
So Cameron Lewis, yeah, and then Millsy you got on the right then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going for
And then in the middle?
Owen and Josh.
Owen and Josh. Okay, so there we are. So that's. But you know what I like about Joshua's way of thinking? Gameplay. Who was the people I mentioned was a little bit behind? Joshua, Millsy, Luther, PK, Owen. And they're all on. Okay? So that's what I like as well, because we're now thinking to get so certain people aren't going ahead of others. Is anybody much difference from this?
No.
Who will we pick? Owen. Okay, Nets. Okay. Right back. Nosy.
I got that one.
Centre backs. Left back. Midfield.
Dean and Tim.
And front. And
Josh and me.
Josh.
I'm between Bruno and.
Yeah, you're between, and then Josh up top. Okay, so, okay. And Donald, we won't let me see you outside. I'm going to ask for all your sheets in anyway. So, Donald. Okay, so the only person that got 4 votes so far, right? Right back?
Cameron.
Cameron Mills? Centre backs?
Nick and Finlay.
Okay, so the 2 centre, that's interesting. So basically the keeper and the 2 centre backs have all been selected by all 4 people I've picked. Left back? Luther. Okay, in front of them?
Tim and Dean.
Tim and Dean. No. Oh yeah, yes, sorry Tim. 4, okay. Midfield?
PK in the middle, Paul on the right, and me on the left.
So PK right in here?
Yeah.
Where's PK? You happy with that, eh? PK right in the middle, and who else do you have?
Josh up front.
Josh up front, and then it was you and Paul then, was it like wide? Yep.
Owen, you're on the soft bench. And then at half time, Owen comes on for Cameron at right back, and Joshua comes on
Nice. Okay, so what have we learned from this exercise? Hands up, what have we learned? Dean. All other people's opinions?
Pressure is on you as a manager.
Pressure's on. Oh, yeah. I feel it's more from your parents than it do you, yeah. Well, we haven't that right now, we'll keep that in now. No. So, what else?
Can I name my team? It's called Braga XM, and manager is Dylan, assistant manager you.
No, you can't name your team. Here we say somebody again, this guy here.
It's Dylan, and I would have put him off.
So, what else have we identified? So the main thing, as Dean says, is it's opinions. People have different ideas. What other thing can we think of from this exercise we've done tonight? Did any of you think about this that I do? Does anybody think that I recorded that? Hands up if you thought I recorded it and did things fairly. Who thinks I'm a fair guy? Okay, everybody thinks I'm a fair guy. Who thinks I'm a nice guy? Huh? Who thinks I'm a man? Other question is, who thought I recorded things as accurate as that? Because this would be different. People might not think I went into as much detail, so that's interesting. So, 14 people in this room think I'm a fair guy, and probably about half the people in this room only thought that I recorded that. That just shows you what detail goes into team selection, yeah? Anybody else think it's quite interesting the thought process of leaving our more developed players maybe out of certain games? Did anybody think that example I gave you that me and Paul Kirk talked about, that if you're the so-called, I never use the words best, right? But the so-called more developed player, did anybody think of the process that we maybe purposely need them out so that we bring them into a different environment being maybe where it go down? Did anybody ever think about that? You thought about it, Bill. Good. And Josh, you thought about it. So it's interesting. I'm not saying I'm going to do that all the time. I will do it certain times because I believe in a way that we do. We've got to raise the bar and make things more difficult for you. If I see certain players that are ahead and we go into a game and I think, oh right, this is an opportunity for me to give certain other people longer time in the pitch and maybe to bring the more developed players into a scenario where they have less time to make an impact because they've got to raise their game a lot higher. Yeah? And that's the big thing we want to get across tonight. So, really good. all your team sheets, pass them up to the top. And well done, managers. Well done, managers. Did you enjoy them? Yeah, I'm sacked, Wednesday.
I'll be ready.